Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Sean Anderson, Most Valuable Podcast, and the upcoming segment is from our full Fast Break podcast that we recorded. And if you do want to check out that full podcast, head over to Blog Talk Radio/The Fast Break. You'll be able to find the full podcast over there.
This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Joining me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
What's up, everybody?
And today we're going to be talking about the Philadelphia 76ers and how Markelle Fultz fits with the Philadelphia 76ers, because there are deals coming out, or reported deals coming out, that,
bombs.
that the Celtics are looking to move the first overall pick to the 76ers, a swap of the first and third this year, and then a future picks going to the Celtics. So we'll talk about how Markelle Fultz will fit with the 76ers, because ultimately he's probably going to be the pick for the 76ers. That's what the rumors are saying, and that's ultimately, I think, the pick that Dave and I would agree on. I don't know about Ricky. But anyways, we're also going to be talking about the Lakers and Josh Jackson. Apparently he was promised that he was going to be picked there, so we'll talk about that, how he fits with that team. Should he even be the pick there? And we'll also be talking about the Boston Celtics. If they move back to 3, what they should do, what position they attack, how the draft falls out in front of them, what they might be looking at, and we'll talk about that. But let's jump into this deal. We heard a lot about the Celtics probably looking to trade this pick for a star. We heard Paul George, Jimmy Butler, that tossed out there, Gordon Hayward as well, but Gordon Hayward was more of a signing. And now we are getting reports today from Mark Stein, Zach Lowe, Adrian Wojciechowski of The Vertical, that the 76ers and Celtics have engaged in trade talks, that we know for sure that the 1 and 3 would be swapped. Again, nothing's official, but people are saying that it's close. People are saying that's not close. We're hearing a lot of conflicted reports, but most of the legit reporters and at least the more credible reporters that have been doing this for longer have been saying that they are close. So we're going to swap of the first and third, and then the next one would be a future pick, either 2 or 1 future first for the 76ers to move up. So the 76ers have the 2018 Lakers and the 2019 Kings, both unprotected, I'm pretty sure.
Correct.
So a lot of huge picks in the area there for the 76ers, but they're trying to move up to get Markelle Fultz. If they get Markelle Fultz, I think they're really waiting on kind of doctor stuff.
Yeah,
and
they were talking about physical possibly needing to be passed prior to the trade being confirmed.
So looking at Markelle Fultz and looking at how he would fit if he passes all that stuff, how does Markelle Fultz fit with the Philadelphia 76ers?
It's damn near perfect. I mean, we were sitting here talking about how it's such a shame. It's great that the Sixers got the 3 pick, but it looks like Ball and Fultz will both be off the board at that point, so they really can't get what they need to fill in this roster. And then just they're making it happen. It seems so. If you put Fultz in there, and I know we'll have Simmons healthy playing the 1 on offense, and then Fultz, very versatile defender because he's got the size and the length to guard 1, 2, 3 probably not 3 very well, but 1 and 2 if he wants to try. Yeah. So that's the thing, is you get that guy who not only defensively will cover up for Ben Simmons, but then offensively you get an absolute rock star coming in as a rookie who can just put up 20 points. I think he's like a staple. If I just close my eyes, it's if he's on a team that's not like a playoff dependent team, 20 points, no question.
Well, I think that it's funny, too, how we talked about how the 76ers need to draft fit. They shouldn't be taking best player available. If anything, they should be trading back. We never thought about them moving up.
I did not imagine it.
We didn't really think of this. There hasn't been that many rumors. We haven't really heard that much about this. So we see this, and we come out, and I think it's a perfect fit. I honestly do. You look at Markelle Fultz, what Dave was talking about, you see at least offensively, Ben Simmons might be your main ball handler, but even if he's not working out as a main ball handler, boom, you have Markelle Fultz that takes over. And we were talking about Malik Monk being that shooter, being that scoring threat from the outside. Markelle Fultz brings that and some. I mean, he brings the ability to lead the offense, whether Ben Simmons is off the floor or on the floor, and it really gives you kind of that Kyrie-LeBron dynamic.
And that's exactly what I was going to bring up, because my first thought...
not exactly, because I know you mentioned something like that and got hate on the comments.
People are thinking that I said, they're an exact copy to the Cavs. I was just saying I'm seeing similar things that the Cavs have done. But, I mean, my first question with this, and when Dave was like, it's the perfect fit, my mind was like, well, it's perfect in the sense of the one position that we've said that they would have loved to draft. They get their choice virtually. You can take Fultz or Ball, but Fultz would be the one that they go to because, like you said, if you're going to have Ben Simmons be the primary ball handler, that was my first thing was, can Fultz be the guy to be the Robin, basically, and not have the ball in his hands coming up on offense. But it's like you said, they can have a kind of mini version of that LeBron-Kyrie dynamic of Ben Simmons ain't going to be playing every single minute in this game. And when Ben Simmons is off the court, then Markelle Fultz will be the one out there on the court to run this offense. And the only question mark that I have from him is Dave mentioned the versatility in his defense. However, he's got to get to that upside, because when I see on a guy's profile that he's a lackadaisical defender, I don't like anything when it comes to lackadaisical or lazy.
It's
or
hard
anything
to try when
with
a team
that.
sucks.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean,
have you seen the 76ers last couple years?
He was also banged up and didn't want to push himself too much.
Yeah.
I see that and I go, well, if he can get past that, then everything is fine. But it's nothing on him is like.
But
a
you
huge
draft him
question mark.
for his offense. Let's be honest. I
well,
mean,
because he's an all-around offensive point guard.
He is a fantastically finished offensive point guard who can take it anywhere. He can go to the hole. He can take the outside shot. His shooting motion's solid. He is not the best passer in this draft, but he's a passable passer. He can play off ball, which we expect him to probably in the system. We'll see about the Ben Simmons experiment at point guard. But honestly, I'm happy they pushed the button on this, because you said,
hopefully push the button.
Likely, hopefully, fingers crossed. You said it. We didn't expect them to move up. I've just been like, hey, they'll just keep drafting best player available. They'll get a superstar out of one of their 5 picks that they've got, plus the guys on the team. They'll find their guy. They'll find their core. And now they're actually like, no, we've got faith. We want this guy. He fits what we're looking for. And I think it's an absolute perfect move for them to finally pull the trigger.
And I think it's a better fit. I think it's a better fit for Fultz to go to Philly than it would have been in Boston. And the main reason why is Philly doesn't have a point guard, right? I look at their point guards and it goes, Fultz is your main point guard. If he went to Boston, then he'd have to deal with, and I get it, he would probably deal with it, but he'd have to deal with who's going to be the point guard of the future, IT or Markelle Fultz or yada, yada, yada. Now he can come into the Sixers and be like, yeah, you're our guy. He doesn't have to deal with that at all.
Well, I don't think it's anything where if he goes to Boston, he won't know that he's not their guy. If he's taking him number 1 overall, I mean, he pretty much understand that he's their guy. Just Isaiah Thomas is already there, and
all
Isaiah
you would hear from the media is just the chatter of, well, is IT the point guard of the future? Yeah, after a while,
the media doesn't.
You can zone out however much you want, but it still gets to you. Like you hear a little bit.
If you're zoning it out, then how is it getting to you?
You can't zone it out 110%.
I think there's something. If Markelle Fultz is winning, I don't think he will really care. And if he's winning on a Boston team that he's still contributing to, and will know that he will take over, I don't think it matters.
It's kind of like what we saw Jaylen Brown this year, where he didn't play a lead role as a 3rd overall pick. We all expected, this guy's got great potential, and we talked about him being more of a raw talent. And what did Boston do? They slow rolled him. They made sure he had limits on his minutes, and he was only in games and times that they needed. And I think that's better for his own development. But again, it's small role in a winning franchise versus being big dog, little
pond.
Well, the one thing too, and going off you, I do agree with you that Philly's a better fit for Markelle. I do agree with that, and it's kind of something with the Jaylen Brown thing, where Jaylen Brown, while he did have the body of an NBA player, he had some promise to him. He was very athletic. He wasn't a finished product. Where you look at Markelle Fultz, he's not a finished product, but he is very close to NBA ready. And you could say that, all right, this kid. You look at this kid, he could start on an NBA team. So you don't really want to hold back his progression. And even though he will learn stuff from Isaiah Thomas, he'll still contribute off the bench. He'll still be coming off the bench, and it might at least, I don't know if it'll hurt him, but at least you put him right in a position where he'll be comfortable in Philly. I think it's a great move. And we also talked about Josh Jackson possibly being the pick for Philly because, you look at Joel Embiid, you look at Ben Simmons, they've had injury problems. Well, how do you fix that? What are you going to rely on if those two get injured? You look at Markelle Fultz, this guy is supposed to be the best star in this draft. I mean, we see the talent there. If those two go out, you still have a star. And you still have Markelle Fultz.
And that's exactly what I was going to hit on was if you're the Philadelphia 76ers, you might be sitting there going, yeah, you know what, we, in a perfect ideal world, we want Ben Simmons to be our main ball carrier. However, you look at it and it's like, well, he was injured this year. What if he comes back next year and that foot's not feeling right and he gets injured again, and this becomes kind of a nagging, recurring injury? You can never know with A, injuries, and B, the Philadelphia training staff. You never know with injuries there. This is their way of saying, hey, you know what? Trust in the process was great, but we got picks. Let's turn them into one for sure guy that can help us whether Ben Simmons is on or off the court.
No, I You had to mention the injuries. That really kills me.
That's the big, that's the thing.
I know.
It's something that's, I mean, you look at Joel Embiid. He's played 30 games in 3 years. You look at Ben Simmons, he hasn't played yet. And I think something too, and they still have picks. If they get rid of only one future, whether it's the Lakers or Kings,
they still have the other one.
Well, if they give up one, so right now, right now, Lowe is saying that's one. Let's just say they give up one, they'll still have that other one. And whether they want to wait and actually draft a player if the Kings pick is still high, or they could trade it while that value is still high, because we look at the Kings, we still say the Kings are promising. And right now we've had mocks that, at least talking it out, that Lonzo might end up to the Kings. And that might help that team and might help Buddy Hield. So you look at the Kings might be a team of the future. They might not be a top 5 pick. Sell it while that value is still high. Sell it while you can say, hey, this is an unprotected pick from the Sacramento Kings. This is a team that is a top 5 team right now. You do not know what's going to happen. They don't have a star at this current moment. They don't have a DeMarcus Cousins. Yeah. You can take this pick and, hey, we'll take a such and such player that will help us in this way. I don't know exactly what. Haven't thought of any deals, but you could still use the process part of it and still trade those players for picks. And maybe Sam Hinkie's idea still hasn't really left once the Cal Angelos really took over. And if they make this deal happen, first off, I think the 76ers win this deal. I think that's something that we got to get to. 76ers win this deal because they're getting the best player in the draft, and yes, you're giving up a little bit of your future, but you're still building your big 3. Because if I look at this team, I still think they have a big 3. Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, probably the scariest big 3 out of any team in the NBA.
Really?
What else?
Really?
What else is there?
I would still put the Cavs and the Warriors big 3s above them.
Scariest big 3 under 22?
Young big 3.
Okay.
Young big 3.
I was like, you know the Warriors and the Cavs are still a thing right now.
Really confused.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. Go ahead.
Young
most
big 3s.
Promising.
Okay.
I mean,
my bad.
Up and coming.
That could have been bad.
I was going to say. I looked at.
Well,
Ricky,
I'm usually on that side of the table. And no one comes and saves me.
Sometimes you forget words. Sometimes we forget words.
So I'll pose this question to you then, since you think they're one of the most promising young big 3s in the NBA.
I would say
is Minnesota not involved?
I would take Karl Anthony Towns over Embiid because he's healthier and I think he's a better player. I would say Wiggins and Simmons is close because Simmons has a lot of potential, but Wiggins is proven. But Wiggins really outside of scoring, he doesn't bring that much defensively. Who?
Wiggins, right?
Wiggins has knees.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking somebody else. You're good.
Wiggins doesn't really have that defensive and doesn't have that playmaking. Ben Simmons can bring that playmaking and then maybe defense down the line, but right now he's got defense. Playmaking, athleticism. And then you look at Fultz. Fultz is scoring all-around great player. Who's that third on that Minnesota team? Will it be Jonathan Isaac? Obviously, I'd take Fultz over Isaac. That's why Isaac's not going number 1.
Depends on who they draft. But the thing that I think is most interesting about this deal is... And this is something I just wanted to throw out there. We don't have to hit on it fully, but because you mentioned the Kings pick and what they do, and you're like, oh, well, you know what? We even see the Kings, they're a team that's up and coming or trying to up and come. I'm going to say it right now, Kings fans, unless the Celtics or the Suns pull a shocker, I think you can almost say De'Aaron Fox locked to the Kings at 5 because of this move.
Why is
that? I would look at it where Fultz would go 1.
Okay.
Lakers with Josh Jackson or Ball, whoever you want to go there, they take 1. And then if they go Ball, Celtics go Josh Jackson, Suns will probably go JT over Fox.
So you're saying Ball doesn't go past 4.
Ball doesn't go past 4 no matter what. Okay. However, if Josh Jackson goes second, then it becomes interesting. And I think Kings fans can now kind of put a little salvate that Fox is going to fall to you. Because the whole thing before is that, nope, Phoenix is taking Fox because 2 point guards are going before.
What the hell are you doing there?
I don't even want to know.
Salvate.
Yeah, got to get the saliva going.
Anyways.
Putting the steak right in front of you.
Okay.
Anyways, we've talked about Philadelphia. We've talked about them before, saying that they might make the playoffs with this current core. Markelle Fultz on this team. Ben Simmons is healthy.
It a little bit.
Ben Simmons is healthy. Joel Embiid is healthy. Is it possible that this 76ers team could make the playoffs this season?
They could be the 8th seed. The Bulls made the 8th seed.
The Bulls did make the 8th seed.
The Bulls made the 8th seed. They almost beat the number 1 seed. They weren't even a young team. They would have beat the number 1 seed if Rondo didn't get injured.
Yeah. On paper, though, Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, and Rajon Rondo. And I mean, that...
Old man.
I'm just saying.
Was injured.
Veterans.
Again, on paper, that's a playoff roster. This is a roster of unproven players who can't stay healthy up to this point in time. Yes, we've seen
that's why I said healthy.
Embiid look like the dominant force of the NBA already in a short time span. Ben Simmons, again, is all hype, and we haven't actually gotten to watch him play an NBA game. The Summer League games, which I weirdly enough had to rewatch because I was like really just like, how good was he really? Like, do I remember? Am I at this point imagining Ben Simmons being amazing? No, his passes were still ridiculous. Like, that's still just.
I believe Sean compared him to Magic Johnson. When he saw those passes.
Not saying he was Magic Johnson.
Even the one that he threw a pass to and his teammate didn't see it coming.
So while I'm not saying
Magic Johnson.
Well, I'm not saying they're a playoff team. I would not be surprised if they were a 30 to 40 win team. I keep the open range though because it's really like I want to see them actually play before I can.
We look at what Embiid did by himself. Really, I mean Embiid by himself. I mean, yes, there was T.J. McConnell. Yes, there was Rocco. All these players on this 76 team. Dario as well. I mean, you look at this lineup. Markelle Fultz. You got Simmons probably at the 3, Dario at the 4, Embiid at the 5. It's really that 2 spot that's unsure of who would really be there. Are they going to go with a guy that's already on the roster? Are they going to go through free agency? What if you bring in a guy like J.J. Redick and you have Markelle Fultz, J.J. Redick, Ben Simmons, Dario Saric, and Embiid? Would you say that's a playoff team then, Dave?
I don't think you can run Dario in the starting lineup. I'm going to start with that.
Well, I'm fine with Dario being a 6 man.
I think that you'd have to slide everybody and put Rocco in at the 3. But yeah, if you could add in a sharpshooter like J.J. Redick, or even just a volume score. I mean, like I like DLC. I think he just needs more time to develop.
Do you think they need scoring or just shooting? Because you look,
it's outside shooting.
Because you look at Fultz, we're thinking his top end's 20 points per game. Like at least
I think
in his
rookie year
season.
He's a 15 to 20.
Yeah, rookie season top end's 20 points per game.
Yep.
We saw Embiid in his stretch of games was around 20 points per game. And probably will put up an uptick
if
he's
like
got
28
a better
minutes.
But if he's got and if he's got a better team around him too, if he's got a better ball handler, ball facility,
right? There's potential that
taking players away
share
from him
could go up or down
to like 25. He might go up to 25.
It depends on the system, how they want to play with all these young guys, because I think a lot of it's going to be experimental.
But still,
I think they're going to find their groove.
What I'm saying is there's a lot of scoring on this team. You think you need a little more either defensively or just shooting in general. Because really you look at the shooting.
Spacing the floor.
Yeah, you look at the shooting. You got Fultz, and then you got Embiid who can stretch it out a little bit, but I'm not going to say Embiid's a shooter just yet.
Knockdown 3 shooter.
But if you bring in a knockdown 3-point shooter, like maybe a J.R. Smith, maybe a Kyle Korver, whoever's out there, I think this team could be really dangerous. I think this team can make the playoffs, to be honest with you. Because I think right now the 76ers are giving me a lot of hope that this team's going in the right direction.
Well, and the team I kind of look at, and it's not a perfect, like nothing's a perfect 100% kind of go over, but I kind of look at I know we mentioned the Bulls because they were the 8th seed, but I look at the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, of course they're led by Giannis, and Giannis is he's not the same player as Embiid, although Embiid was drafted just the year following Giannis. But this was a team, Thon Maker, rookie, Malcolm Brogdon, rookie. Like, the rookies I'm looking for the word of, they stepped up to the plate and kind of played really well this season. Brogdon was a huge surprise. That's why we have an award named after him now here on the Fast Break, where I could see this Philadelphia team, if everything clicks and the injuries don't happen and Markelle Fultz kind of steps up like Brogdon did, like 7th, 8th seed can be just put him in there. I'll put him in there in the preseason.
That's the scary thing. It's like, I want to be hyped. I am doing everything I can to not be hyped about this because I'll just say, they could easily make the playoffs at the AC.
I got a question.
The East is a shit show, and every year there's an upheaval of about 3 teams who we don't expect to do as good or bad. So I'll give you that. This team, if you add Markelle Fultz and you can get a pickup of a 3-point shooter in free agency, any 3-point shooter, done.
I think the teams that are in question, at least in the East, would be, you look at the Hawks. How will they handle losing Millsap? Not saying that they will fall out, but the Hawks are in that conversation. Milwaukee, if someone gets hurt, because we've seen Middleton go out before, Jabari go out before. God forbid anything happen to Giannis. Bulls are definitely in there. Pacers if they get rid of Paul George. So, I mean, those 4 teams right there could probably fall out. I think the Raptors are fine. I think the Wizards are fine. I think the Cavs are fine. Celtics are fine.
Yep.
Those 4, the Heat look like a team that they could bounce back in the playoffs.
If they add a 4 and they pick up...
If they get Gordon Hayward. I mean, that could be a dangerous team right there. I honestly think that they can be a top 10 team for sure in the East.
Yeah, I think this is kind of that turning point that we've all been waiting for. I know Philadelphia fans have been waiting a long time for, seeing here is, I really hope that everybody can stay healthy this year, and this is here's year 1 of what we're going to do to this league, and you just see people going off left and right.
And we really can't get into the Celtics side because we're going to have to do the Celtics topic on their own. So if you do want to check that out, just go to our YouTube channel.
And I got one question. Or if you're
listening on Blog Talk Radio, you can listen to the full podcast.
And I got one question I kind of want to throw in there for the 76ers side, because we're talking about them making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I kind of think about, maybe this is me, but is Brett Brown the guy? Do you see him being the guy that when this team turns over and if they turn over and start to then have success, is he the guy that's going to do it? Or does Philadelphia pull a Golden State Warriors-esque thing where it's like, you know what?
You're good,
we're going to let him go this
enough.
year to try to get someone else, because he's been around 4 years. This will be 5. Mark Jackson that was his 3rd year at Golden State. I'm not saying to be perfectly the same, but is Brett Brown the guy to bring these guys to where they want to go?
It's a fair question.
Is he just the guy that, I'm going to pass it off to the next guy?
I think it's something where you at least give him a chance, because it at least seems like Brett Brown gets along with his players coach. He has the at least pedigree too, being a pop guy too. I mean, he's won 5 championships. With, I think he left in 2007 or whatever that was, and that was the last championship he won with the Spurs in 2007.
But he wasn't a coach though. He was just the director of player operations.
He was an assistant coach back
then. Was
he? Yeah.
I thought it was just the
he might
director
have
of
moved
player
then
operations.
and then moved to a coach. Anyways, I just think he at least deserves a chance. I'm not sure because he really hasn't played with a great team yet. I mean, you look at what he was brought in. I mean, this is post-Iggy trade, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, I really haven't seen him with a great Philadelphia 76ers team and what he can do with it. So if he has the talent now, I think then you bring in the question, should he be in the hot seat? Is he going to be enough? I think Brett Brown definitely deserves a chance to prove himself to be a worthy coach. I think it's something that we'll look on at least after the season, because we really haven't seen anything from him with a decent roster. So anyways, again, check out Blog Talk Radio if you want to listen to this full podcast and check out the Celtics one, or you can just go to our YouTube channel. It's going to be posted 2 days after this one. It's usually our schedule. So go over there, check out the Celtics one. We'll talk about the Celtics side, who they're going to do with the three pick if this deal goes through. But I'm glad that there's some trade talks, because I was getting a little bit bored.
I'm glad something kind of shook this thing up.
I'm glad we got something to shake it up. Thank you. Oh, shit. It's just one of our videos scared me a little bit. Don't forget to check out that one. And also don't forget to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.